Hello, and we are working today on chapter 3 of Excel. This is our final chapter of Excel. So this chapter is going to be working with larger worksheets, doing some charting and some what-if analysis. Still, everything's going to be pretty easy. You can see here, these are the objectives we're going to be doing. And we're really going to be using Excel to do the what-if analysis is typically used in planning for a business. So if you want to go, well, what if I increase sales here? Or what if I was able to decrease the amount I pay in rent? Or what if I did this? How is that going to affect my budget? So if you look through the book, here is going to be an example. Let me zoom in here of what we're going to be creating. Now, these numbers you see here are not going to be the numbers that we get for a while because we're going to make some changes to be able to get those numbers. But this is going to show you an idea of what it's going to be looking like. Again, there's not a whole lot to it. And again, we're not doing a whole lot of typing. It's more formulas. We're also going to be doing a chart. So we're going to be looking at some of the different options you can turn on and off on your charts for a cluster column chart. So our boss has said, looks like the paragraph started somewhere else. Okay. Anyway, we are working for Katelyn's Ice Cream. And we're going to be figuring a monthly sales, or we're going to be figuring her 6-month financial projection. So when you open a business or run a business or you're doing a business plan, wanting money from the bank wants to know, well, how much do you think you're going to make? It's really hard because you have to speculate how much you think you're going to have for sales, how much your expenses are going to be. But that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. At least the numbers are all given to you. So we're going to make a worksheet that shows the projected monthly sales revenue, cost of goods sold, gross margin, expenses, operating income for a 6-month period. We also need a cluster column chart that's going to show the expected contribution of each expense category to total expenses. The source of data is going to come from our business owner, and he's going to give us that information. The remaining numbers are going to be based on formulas. Here are the formulas we're going to be using. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through all of these, but again, none of them are hard. We will be doing an if function, which is very helpful, very beneficial. It's not hard to do if you just can remember the right pattern to click on. We'll be doing some sparkline charts and the clustered column chart. So here's kind of the sketch of what we had so that we know what it is that we're working with. You can see here as easy as this is going to be. And here's what our chart's going to look like. So basically, that's what we're doing. Here is the numbers that our boss has given us, or the business owner's given us, so that we will be plugging those in. So we'll go ahead and get started with Excel. I'm just going to move that over to my other screen so I can see those as we go. And here is our brand new Excel. I'm going to zoom in for you. It looks like we're going to be working mainly through columns I, so I'll zoom in big so you guys can see that. So we're going to go with Katelyn's Katelyn's Ice Cream Shop. And it is her 6-month financial projection. Okay, again, just like in the past, I'm not going to do a lot of the formatting until the end because I like to get all my numbers in there. I am going to jump over. It looks like we're going to put a date. The book doesn't have us do this till later, but I'm going to go ahead and have us do it now. It's going to go in K1. No, sorry, H1. And this time to do the date, we're going to do what's called the now function. So there's a couple different ways to do it. The easiest way is just type equal parenthesis now, close parenthesis. Press, oh, that didn't work. Okay, so that's not the easiest. Go to your function button up here, date would work. Hit OK. This is could be, oh. Okay. Let's just do that later. Okay, so we have our 6-month financial projection. We're ready to start adding in our column headings. So this time our column headings are going to be the months. So we're going to start with January. And let me show you a trick. Once we type January, let's go ahead and format January the way we want. I know typically we don't do that till the end, but we're going to go ahead and do it now. So I'm clicked on January, and what I want to do is rotate January so it goes more diagonal. So up here you see the AB with the arrow. I'm just going to click on it, and I want an angle counterclockwise. That's going to angle my January for me. I can also, to angle that, I can hit on the alignment here, and it's going to show me my angle here, and we actually want it to be at 60 degrees. So that's not quite angled enough. I'm going to change that up to 60 and hit OK. The reason why I'm doing it is because then my column can be a lot smaller. Now, once we have January, we need the rest of our months. So we learned this, I think, in chapter 1. Excel is going to pick up on your patterns. So I'm going to use my fill handle, which is the black plus sign. I'm going to drag through. You'll notice how it's popping up my months down here. September, October, November, December. And I'm going to let go. Oh, wait, we were only doing 6 months, weren't we? Sorry. So we should have started at January and stopped at June. I'll just delete those out of there. Okay. There we go. And then in the last one, after June, we want to put total. I guess that's what I get for not following the book exactly. And then in column H, I'm going to put chart. Okay. We have all of those in. I want to change my column width for all of those. So I'm actually going to highlight all of the columns B through G, which is going to give me all of the months are highlighted, and we're going to drag that until they are all 38. 38? No. Sorry, that is wrong. Those need to be 14.5. I knew that didn't sound right. So as close as you can get to 14.5. And then column A, we're actually going to make that one be 38, which is huge. 38. We're close to it. I'm going to resume so we can see what we're looking at. We want to be able to see everything. Okay. And it doesn't look like we changed. Okay. All right, we're ready to go ahead and put in some of our row headings. So first one, we're going to be in cell A4 is going to be revenue. We're making a budget. Nope, spell revenue correctly. We're going to be making a budget. And so basically, if you've had an accounting class, you know that you have kind of a heading and then subheading, like under here, we're going to list all of our revenue sources, and then we're going to have expenses, and we'll list all of our expense sources. And a lot of times you will indent here. Now, if you hit tab to indent in Excel, what that's going to do for you is it's going to move you to the next cell. So we're going to go ahead and type cost of goods sold. Let's enter. I'm going to go ahead and do gross margin. Let's enter. Now, cost of goods sold, I want indented. So I'm going to come up here to the alignment area, and I'm going to do increase indent, which is going to indent this row here. So revenue is going to be what our sales are. Revenue and sales mean the same thing. Cost of goods sold is how much did it cost me for that item. So we're selling ice cream. So if I had $1,000 in ice cream sales, how much did it cost in ice cream? Maybe I spent $500 to get the ice cream and the cones in my store. Gross margin is going to be the difference. That's going to be like, what did I make if I didn't have any other expenses? I just sold something. Okay. We're going to skip a row, go down to line 8 and type expenses. We're going to type in all of our expenses. Bonus, commission, site rental, marketing, equipment, repair, and maintenance. and total expenses. Again, we're going to highlight bonuses through equipment repair and maintenance, and we're going to indent those. Okay, under total expenses, we'll drop down, leave a row, and do operating income. Our operating income, oh, and it tried to indent that one. It thought it saw a pattern, so we're going to move that one. Ooh, move it back here. Okay, so expenses, bonus is if we pay bonuses to our employees. Commission is how much our salespeople get on commission. Site rental, we have to pay for our spot in the mall. Marketing, we're going to have to do some advertising. Equipment repair and maintenance, because something's always going to break. We'll have our total expenses and our operating income. This is going to be our important number. This is going to be our gross margin, which how much profit did we make after we bought the goods that we sold, minus all of our other expenses to get our operating income. So this is going to be our true profit down here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go down here to row 18 and type what if assumptions. Because what if assumptions is basically going to be where we can play with our numbers, because this is a budget we're doing. So what if our bonuses went down? What if we paid more in commission? What if we did this or did that? And those are going to be the same as what we had in our expense group. So I'm going to highlight bonus through equipment repair and maintenance. I'm going to copy that. So Control C or copy or right click copy, come down here to 19 and paste, which can be Control V or paste or however you want to paste it. Okay, so I have my what if assumptions. This is my what if assumptions table is what this is going to be called throughout the assignment. Okay, next we have realized that we needed to insert a row because we forgot one. So we want a new row under bonus down here in the what if assumptions. So between bonus and commission, we need a new row. So I'm just going to click here on row 20, which is commission, right click on it and insert, and it's going to insert a row above it. Okay, we can now type in our new row heading, which is going to be sales revenue for bonus. Because we need to tell Excel how much do they have to sell before they're going to get the bonus, because Excel's going to look at that and decide whether they even qualify for a bonus and then to calculate the bonus. Another place where we're going to need a row is we're going to want to insert a new row called margin. So right click on row heading 19, which is bonus, insert again. We're going to put margin right up here at the top. So this one did not indent, so we're going to come over here and indent it. Okay, make sure I got all those. Margin, bonus, sales revenue, commission, site revenue. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's go ahead and save this one. So file, save as. We're going to name it EX3. So put it wherever you put your stuff. My computer's a little slow. So I'm going to name it EX3. This is going to be Katelyn's. She's spelled with a K. Katelyn's ice cream shop. And your initials. So we have it named. Next thing we're going to do, we're going pretty quickly here. We inserted new rows. You can also insert new columns the exact same way. To delete them, you would just, I right click on the number 10 and would hit delete if that's what I wanted to do. I don't, but that's how you delete them. That's the easiest way. Okay, so when you're typing, you can type numbers like we have been doing in the past where we don't type in the percents or the dollar signs, or you can type them with them. So it's up to you however you want to be typing those. So we're going to start by typing in our projected monthly sales. So you can either watch me in the book Or you can find that, or you can watch me, or you can find that in your book. It was like on the second or third page in the table that's called 3-1, the information that the owner gave to us. So 55,000. I'm just typing without any formatting. I think that's easier. Okay. Then I'm going to jump down here to my what if assumptions. And I am going to type these with the formatting because they vary a lot. And so that way, if I type them with the formatting marks, then I don't have to go back and change them. So that's going to be 78.75%. So I'm going to type the percent sign for the margin. My bonus is 3,500.00. Sales revenue for the bonus is going to be 65,000.00. Commission is 25.00%. Site rental is 10.00%. Oops. Marketing is going to be 5.00%. And my equipment repair and maintenance is 3.50%. Now, if you didn't get the two places after your decimal point, remember, you can always go up here and adjust those as you need to. Okay. So we have several percents, one that's got a dollar sign and one that's just got the comma in it. All right, now we're going to go up here and we're going to put in the time, the date and time, or use the now function. So this is an easy way to put the current date into your spreadsheet. So we're going to go to H1. And I want to tell you the way the book has you do it. We're going to go to the insert function button, which you can do a couple different ways. They're under formulas up here, insert function, or it's a shortcut. It's right here by your formula bar. That's the one I usually use. And we're looking for the now function. Okay. So the now function is going to mean every time you open up your spreadsheet, it's going to change it to the current date right now. Hit OK. It's going to put in this formula that equals now, parenthesis, parenthesis. It's volatile, meaning this formula will change. There's no arguments to put into it, or what does it need to do to calculate that, and hit OK. And you can see that this one here added the time. We don't want the time, so I'm going to go back to my Home tab, go back to my number format group, launcher button. Over here under date, I'm going to say how I want it to look. I want it to be this one. Nope. Find the right one here. (3/14/2012). Right down here, almost at the very, very bottom. 3/14/2012 and hit OK. So that's going to have it formatted. You can see that that is the exact date right now. And that will change every time we open the worksheet. So as I'm grading yours and I open it, it will have whatever date I'm grading listed there. Okay. We're going to go ahead and change column H and I to be best fit. So just double click and double click on H and I. Yes, that made the chart pretty small. We may have to adjust that later. And in H, okay, we're going to go ahead and hit save again. Okay, next what I'm going to explain to you is absolute versus relative addressing. So as we've been doing Excel formulas, when we copy that formula to another location, Excel changes that formula based on its new location. So let me just see if I can pull up. Here is from chapter 2. So here we typed a formula here for gross pay. Just make that a little bit bigger. And our gross pay formula was these two cells. Now, when we copied that down to here, Excel changed our formula. So this one here involved row 4. This formula involves row 5 because Excel's like, oh, well, up here you wanted these two numbers, so I'm guessing you just want these two numbers. You don't want on this formula me to still use row 4 numbers. You want me to now use row 5 numbers. So I'm going to change my formula based on my new location. That is called that is called relative cell reference, meaning change the equation relative to its new location. Now, if I did not want it to change, it's called absolute. And that's what we're going to be learning about here, because we're going to be using these numbers in our formulas. Well, if we put a formula in here in column B using these numbers, and then we move that formula to column C, we don't want it to move over here and use this area because there's nothing there. So we need to tell Excel, whatever you do, absolutely positively do not change from using these numbers. That's called absolute cell referencing. You can also use mixed cell referencing, which means go ahead and change part of the formula, but don't change this part of the formula. And we do that by adding dollar signs in our cell referencing. We can also use the shortcut, which is the F4 button on the top row of your keyboard. Okay. If you want to read more about that, if you're not understanding, that's on page 132 through 134, I believe. Okay, so we're ready to enter in a formula. Cost of goods sold. This is how much did it cost us for the ice cream that we sold for $55,000. Well, we know that our margin is 78.75%, meaning we make 78.75% of everything we sell. So we need to know what it costs the goods. So that's going to be the opposite. So 100 minus 78.75, but we can tell the formula to do that for us. So we're typing a formula, so we're going to type equal. We're going to start with the margin, which is B4. We have to remember our order of operations. So we're going to do times, parenthesis. Oops, did I not hit the times? Before times, I didn't hit the shift key. Parenthesis, 1 minus B19, close parenthesis. Do not press enter. Okay, so I did the 1 minus, which is going to mean I need the opposite of the 78.75%, which is 100 minus this. So you just put 1 minus because this is not quite a whole. But I also need B4, whenever I change to February, needs to change to C4. But B19 should always stay B19. Absolutely do not change that number. So if I click in B19 where the red is, or I could have done it directly after I had typed the 9, and I press F4 on the top row of my keyboard, it's going to add $2 signs there. That means always stay at column B and always stay at column 19. Now, if I continue to press F4, which you don't have to do, this one means, okay, you could change B to C, but don't change row 19. Don't change column B, but you can change the row. That is, you can change relative to everything. So we want to have $2 signs in there. You can type the dollar signs or you can press the F4 button on your keyboard. Press enter. And so it looks like our cost of goods sold, out of that $55,000 that we sold, we had $11,687 in our cost of goods sold. Let's go ahead with these top numbers here and go ahead and add the comma style to those. I think that's going to make it easier to read these. Okay. Gross margin. Gross margin is easy. It's just your revenue minus your cost of goods sold. So equal B4 minus, well, let me click there. I'm going to do B5. Okay. And press enter. It was taking up too much room, so I could just type it in. So double check that. That's blue minus the red. Press escape to get out of there. Okay. Let's go ahead and fill these across. We could wait and do it at the end, but let's go ahead and get the top part done for every month. Looky there. Easy to do. It added commas to some of them, but not some of them. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure they're all the comma style. I think that's easier to read. We're going to change it up a little bit later and add some dollar signs, but for now, let's do commas. Okay, we're ready for our expense section. So for our bonus, we're going to we give our employees, our salespeople, they are going to get a bonus of $3,500 if they sell over $65,000 in the month. So you can see, obviously, they did not do that in January or February, but they did do it in March, April, May, and June. But we don't want to have to look at that. We want Excel to do it automatically for it. We want Excel to look and see if they qualified for a bonus. So this is going to be called an if function. You can read more about the if function on page 136 and 137 in your book. But basically, you make if function decisions every day. An if function is if this is true, do this. If this is false, do that. So this one, if the sales revenue is greater than or equal to 65,000, if the answer to that is yes, you're going to give them a bonus of 3,500. If the answer to that is no, you're going to give them a bonus of 0. So you can see in your book, it tells you how the if function is listed. It's equal if parenthesis, the logical test or the question you're asking, comma, what do I do if that's true, comma, and what do I do if that is false? And then close parenthesis. But we don't have to type out the formula because Excel's going to walk us through that basically just by answering some questions. You can have an embedded function, meaning if it's true, then look and see if this is true. So you can have more than one question or logical test in your if statement. So for example, in real life, the question is, do you have milk in the refrigerator? If the answer is yes, what should you do? Don't buy milk. If the answer is no, what should you do? Buy milk. Does that make sense? So you look at your gas tank. If your gas tank is less than a quarter tank of gas, if that statement is true and your gas tank is less than a quarter tank of gas, what should you do? You should get gas. If that statement is false and you have more than a quarter of a tank, don't get gas. Now, I know that's a very argumentative thing. Some people like to keep their gas tank above half a tank. I like to let mine go until I'm within 30 miles of running out. But that's a personal opinion. So this is what we're going to do. We want to know, is their revenue or their sales more than $65,000, which here's our answer for that, our sales revenue for bonus. If it is, give them this for a bonus. If it's not, give them 0. So we're going to start by hitting this FX button, the insert function button. And here we don't need it under date and time. I usually just keep it on most recently used, which is going to show my if. Now, if you've never done this, it may not be in your if. So up here where it has description, you actually have to delete those words out, and you can type if there and go, and it's going to search for it. Mine's searching slowly. I don't know what mine's doing. There we go. So here is my if. Hit OK. So my logical test, what is it I want to know? I want to know, is this number here, so I'm going to click on B4. You can drag this around by clicking on the blue bar. Is B4 greater than oh, hold on. Yeah, is B4 greater than or equal to B21, which is where they get their bonus? Okay. Now, I need to look at that. Do I need to make anything here absolute? Whenever I change to February, do I want B4 to change to C4? Yes, I do want that to change. Do I want B21 to change to C21? No, I do not. So I'm going to press the F4 button on my keyboard to add those dollar signs and make that absolute. You can see here we just answered the question. Down here it's actually writing out the formula for us. So if that's a true statement, if it was bigger than 65,000, what do I do? Well, we're going to give them $3,500. So I click on B20. Now, the reason why we use the cell addresses instead of actually typing in the number is because we're going to play with these numbers and see how that changes our budget for the year. So B20, do I need to make that absolute? Do I need it to always stay there? Yes, I do. So F4. And what do they get if it's false? They're going to get 0. So just type 0. Now you can look here and it's going to tell you down here, it tells you whenever you're clicked in the cell what it is that you're trying to put in, the value of true. Is is the value that is returned from the logical test is true. If true is omitted, it's going to be 0. And it also tells you can nest up to 7 if functions in there. So basically, it's going to tell you what you're putting in these different areas. Okay, down here it tells you what the result is. That's 0. That's kind of a way for you to judge this and go, yep, I can look at that and I can tell that that should be a 0 there. So I think I'm okay. I hit okay. They got 0. That was correct. Okay, let's go on to function. Now the book doesn't have you fill that across right now, but I do recommend that with your if function that you do go ahead and fill it as you go, just because you can look at this and say, yep, that one they got the bonuses in the month they should have got the bonus. If they didn't get the bonuses here, then you know that you had a problem with your if function because you can look at it because our spreadsheet is small enough. Okay, so let's go on to commission because it looks like our if function worked correctly. For commission, let me see where it is. We're going to do the commission. Okay, commission means we're going to pay them. We're going to take their revenue and we're going to multiply it by the commission rate. I'm going to zoom out just a tad bit so I can see everything. Okay, the revenue times the commission rate. So I'm in cell B10 equal revenue, which is B4, times the commission rate. Oh, I did it again. I didn't hit my, so I want equal B4 times my commission rate, which is B22, blue times red. Now look at this. Does anything need to be absolute? I'm going to tell you if anything is down here in the what if assumption area, it does need to be absolute. So I'm going to hit my F4 key, make that absolute, press enter. So it looks like we're going to, in January, we're going to pay $13,750 for commission. Next, we're going to do our site rental. How much do we have to pay for the rental? Well, this is kind of odd. Typically, these are set numbers, but our rental is going to be based on what our sales were. So I'm going to do equal B4 times our site rental, which is 10% down here in B23. Make B23 absolute. Press enter. Marketing. Still going to make this a tad bit smaller. Here we go. Equal B4, because our marketing is going to be based on our sales, times, looks like our marketing is down here in B24, make B24 absolute, enter. Equipment repair and maintenance, again, equal B4 times equipment repair and maintenance, which is down here in B25, make it absolute, press enter. Okay, good job, guys. Let's go ahead and figure our total expenses. So I'm just going to hit my auto sum. It's going to say, are you wanting to add bonuses through equipment repair and maintenance? I sure am. So I press enter. Now I can just take this, highlight it, and fill it all the way across. Now I want you to stop and look at this. First of all, if you want, you can go ahead and format it with the comma style so you can see your decimal places. Remember your comma style makes your negative numbers be just a dash. That's okay. If you have something in here that looks weird or looks strange, for example, let me just show you what would happen. Don't do this. But if I had not made B22 absolute, okay, that number is going to look good. But if I fill that across, I didn't have to pay any commission because this cell here was taking my revenue times nothing. Okay. So I'm going to undo that. There we go. Make sure I've got my formulas correct. Okay. All right. So if you get zeros through here, that means that you've probably not made something absolute and you need to double check that. All right. Basically we've got our whole spreadsheet done. Up here you can see, oops, our date and time's not showing. I'm going to go ahead and make that bigger, auto fit it so it fits. It does talk about nesting functions. Nesting your if functions on page 141 in your book. If you want to know about that, you will not have to do that for any homework or for your test. Okay. We now need to know our operating income. This is the most important number. This is how much money did we truly make. So this is an easy one. It's just equal B6 minus B14, do I want to make anything absolute? No, I don't, because I want it to move every column as I go. Press enter and drag that one across. So you can see each month here how much I made for my net operating income. Here's something interesting. My sales went up here in March. My operating income went down in March compared to February. Why was that? Well, that's because I paid a bonus. So if I didn't pay a bonus, I would have made more money. But if I hadn't paid a bonus, would my salespeople have worked harder to sell stuff? So that's some of those things you have to look at as your business owner on what you're doing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add totals over here. We are wanting to total across. So I'm just going to go into cell B4. And I think it showed us a different way to do this. Okay, we're going to do these all at once. So I'm going to highlight B4 through B6, hold control, highlight next to all my expenses, hold control, and grab the operating income. So you can see here what I've got highlighted. Hit auto sum. It's going to fill all those in. So I could have done it where I did the first one and then I drug down, but this was another way to do it. And then I didn't have to go through and readjust what it was that it was trying to total up. Okay, we're ready for our chart. Sparkline chart, super easy to do. And basically a sparkline chart, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger because I know it needs to be bigger. It's going to show me a little baby chart based on what I tell it to. So for example, in this chart, we wanted to chart what our revenue is for our 6 months. So we can have a little line chart here. The most important thing to remember is that you do not include the total in your chart. So I'm going to click where I want my answer, which is I4, which is where I want my chart to be. It's going to be under Insert. And I'm going to come over here in my spark lines. It looks like I'm going to want a line column or a line spark line. Yours may look a little bit different. You may have to click on spark lines and then choose line. It says, what do I want my data range to be? Meaning, what do I want to chart? I'm going to chart my months, January through June, do not include the total. So I just have B4 through G4. Where do I want my answer to be placed? It's going to be an I4. So I can click. Oh, if my computer doesn't freeze. I should have saved. Okay, there it went. I am going to go ahead and hit that save button just so I don't lose anything. Okay, so I've got my chart there. I actually want to bring that so I can do a little bit of formatting on my chart. It looks like I'm going to come up here while I'm clicked on the chart, hit the More button in the Styles. And I want to choose Sparkline Style 4, accent 25%. Doesn't really matter to me. Okay, just choose, because mine looks a little bit different. Sparkline Style 4, Style 4, darker 25%. Okay, made it yellow. The book has it green. It'll be okay. All right, so I can actually just fill that one all the way down now. And you can see your charts, how they vary. Now, one thing I want you to look at is if I had charted this wrong, I'm going to go up here and redo this. Well, sometimes because they're all tied together, it doesn't work. But if I had accidentally put my totals in this chart, you would have seen them all be very low and then have a huge spike at the end. So that's a clue that you put the wrong thing in your sparkline chart. So with my sparkline charts highlighted, I can actually change my sparkline type. So go back to my design tab. And here you can change colors. So if I wanted to change my color to be the blue, if I wanted to make it a column chart, I can hit column. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. Maybe I like it green. All right, so you can play with those to play with your sparkline charts. Okay, next, we are ready to format our worksheet. So I'm going to hit save. So we've got everything in there. Let's go ahead and make it look pretty. We're going to go ahead and do our title. So before we've been merging and centering this, and this is what it looks like it's done, but it really hasn't. So we're just going to highlight A1 through I2. We're going to change the color, so that's the little paint bucket, and we're going to make it a green color. I don't care which green you choose. Sure the book does, but it'll be fine. I'm going to make it green. I'm going to change the font color to white. Okay. I want to make Katelyn's Ice Cream Shop, which is located in cell A1. Seeing what size I want to make that. We're going to make it size 28, so I'm just going to hit my grow font button to 28. Oops, one too many. And for my subtitle, I'm going to make that one 16. So you can either do grow font or you can just do the 16 here. Okay, next we're going to, we got the top part formatted. We want to do some formatting to some other cells in here. So we're going to click on revenue because we want to make it green. So it's going to be select A3. Oh, sorry, we're going to do this row here. A3 through I3. And we're also going to select, so I'm going to hold control. Oh, wait, nope. We're going to do heading style 2, cell styles, heading 2. So we formatted those. Now I'm going to select A6 through H6. And I'm also going to go ahead and grab A14 through H14 and row 16. So basically you can see here I got my, oops, I missed some. Try again. I'm going to get my gross margin row, my total expense row, and my operating expense row. Okay, I did not include the charts in this range, but I did include the words. Okay, this one's going to be cell style of the total. And next I'm going to click on cell A4. I'm going to use my fill color bucket. I'm going to change it to the same green I had up here. And I also want to make it the white font. Okay, next we want to change, okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to copy this format down here to expenses and to the operating income area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what's called the format painter. So I'm clicked on cell A4 because I want this color here, the font and everything, the way this is formatted to be pasted here. So I'm going to click the format painter. If I click it once, I can pick up enough paint that I can paint one cell, so I could click here on expenses and it formats it. If I double click on, so I'm going to go back to A4, if I double click the format painter brush, it's going to click up enough paint that everywhere I click is now going to be painted that same format. So I can now click on cell A8 with expenses. You can see I've still got the paintbrush there next to my cursor because I've still got paint on it. And I'm going to drag through A16 through H16. So I'm going to come down here to the operating income row and paint it the same. Okay. I've still got paint on my paintbrush, so I got to be careful not to do anything. I can hit format painter again to turn that off, or I could hit escape. Okay, you also see that it unformatted my row here because I had that as totals. So I am going to go back in and turn on my cell styles total. Even though it's still in the green, we're still good. Okay, I'm kind of not following the book order. Okay, we're going to go ahead and grab, oh, and it wanted those to be white too, didn't it? Sometimes the format painter brush is wonderful, sometimes it's not. I am going to go ahead and pick up some more paint, so I'm going to click on any of those green and white spaces double click my format painter brush because I want to paint everything in my assumption table also. Okay, but I do not want, okay. Hit escape or click up here to turn that off. Let's hit undo. I don't like the way it did that because it changed these. So let's just highlight them and go ahead and just make them the green and the white. We will go ahead and highlight the words, make those bold. Okay, so format painter brush works good, but remember it copies all your formatting. So let's go ahead and add in our number signs. You can see here I've got a row that needs to be whiter again. So we're going to add number signs to the revenue, gross margin, the bonus row, total expense row, and my operating income row. I'm just going to come up here and hit the regular dollar sign to add those in. Okay. Let's see. Right, let's go ahead and hit save. Next, we're going to add a clustered column chart. So we've done a chart before. We did, I believe it was a pie chart. We're going to do our clustered column chart now. It is important to remember what it is that you're adding into your chart. So we're going to select the range A3 through G3 because we want all of the months. And then we want to hold down control and get A9 through G13. Oh, not totals. So I'm going to get all of my months along with the corresponding expenses. Now I did have to include this blank cell because it corresponds with the words here. If it's off, it's going to throw your chart off. So I'm just going to go up to insert. I can click recommended charts, see what it recommends for me. And you can look at some of those to see how they would look. We're going to do this clustered column chart. Hit OK. So it adds it right there. We want to put this on its new sheet. So we're going to do move chart, new sheet. We're going to name it expense chart. Hit OK. It's now on its own tab. My colors are different than the book. That's okay. If yours match, whatever. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, we're going to, every chart needs a title. Up here at chart title, I'm going to click, I want to change that to be 6-month projected expenses. 6-month projected expenses. I want you to hyphen that and put your first initial and your last name. How about that? Hit enter. It's going to put my chart title up here. Okay, so some other things we're going to do, we're going to turn some things on, turn some things off. We're going to play with our chart. So we're going to look at our data labels. Data labels is how it is labeling each one of these. Like we can see from our legend down here that bonuses are blue, commissions are orange, site rentals gray, but we can also play with them some more. So here I get a plus sign that's going to add chart elements. If I click that, I can turn things on and off. So I can turn on and off my axis. I can turn on my axis titles. Probably a good idea to have axis titles, but I probably don't need this one over here. It's obvious that that's going to be dollars. I am not following the book exactly. So we'll go ahead and turn off our axis title for the vertical. We'll turn off vertical. We do want to leave the axis title down here. Data labels, you can put the numbers on. That's going to tell you the exact amount those are. You can decide where you want those, outside end, as a call out, inside end. So I don't care, you choose. So that one's a little confusing. Usually outside end is where I typically put them, and I don't want it to be a call out. Okay, so wherever you decide you want to put them, you can. So data table, if you go over data, oops, I lost it. Let me turn that back on. Data table, if you turn it on, it's going to show like that. Error bars, I don't know exactly what those are. You can decide whether you want grid lines, whether you want the legend, whether you want a trend line. Okay, you can decide where to put your legend. Okay, we're going to rename our axis title down here. We're going to name it don't know what the book calls it. We're going to name it expenses. Okay, and I don't like those data labels, so I'm going to go ahead and go back up here and turn those data labels off. I think they make my chart too busy. Okay, so some other things you can do over here. If we had this label on, we could actually rotate it to be a different direction. We can apply a different style. So up here you can apply a style of your choice. We can filter data. So we can actually come here to the filter and we can tell it what we want and don't want to see. So I could turn those off, hit apply. So that's what it would look like without those. I can turn them back on and apply. I can decide which months to have. So those are just some different things you can do with yours. I don't care which one you choose. Okay, let's go back to, you can also change colors here. So if I want to change different colors, I could do a different color scheme. Whatever it is you want to do. If I wanted to just change this orange, I could actually do that by right-clicking and changing the fill to a different color, maybe green. Okay, so some ways to play with your chart. Let's go back to our sheet 1. Let's go ahead and name sheet 1 6-month financial projection. Okay. And we're going to drag it so it is in front. So we have 6-month financial projection and then our expense chart. Hit save. And let's go ahead and do our spell check. Remember, that's under the review tab. Spelling, we're not quite done. So there it's saying my name's spelled wrong. I can just add it to my dictionary and hit OK. Make sure you've got everything correct. Okay, so we can look at our print preview. We did that in the last chapter. I'm going to make sure nothing's highlighted. Go to my page layout. Or I can just go, let's do this one, the easy way, file, print. And it's going to open it up. Okay, some things I need to change. Oops, it's not all fitting. So I need to make it landscape. It's still not all fitting. So I'm going to change where it has scaling to fit on one page. Okay, go ahead and go back to the home. Oops, not that far home. I lost my paper. There it is. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, the book talks about how you can view it. So we've talked down here about how you can zoom. You can also, I do want to show you this because I do use this a lot, is you can actually freeze things. So if our cell, I'm going to close that. So if this was like fitting, I'm just going to zoom really, really big so it doesn't all fit on one page. Okay. Yes, you would normally just unzoom that, but I do want to show you, for example, okay, that's hard to read. I always wanted to see, maybe if I'm down here, I can't see what month I'm on. So maybe I always want these rows up here to show. I can actually click here and cell A. Usually I'll do like B4. And let me show you what happens. If I go to view, I can actually freeze my panes. I'm going to freeze where I'm at. It'll freeze everything above and to the left, or I can freeze just the top row or first column. I'm going to do freeze from where I'm at. So now no matter where I move in the worksheet, I'm always going to see that row 3, and I'm always going to see column A. So if you've got a big worksheet, this is something you want to do. When you freeze things, however, it's only going to show on your screen. It does not print that away. So remember that for your test, freezing does not print, it only shows it. To unfreeze, you just hit freeze panes again and unfreeze. Similar to that is the split window. So I could actually split it here, and I could do split, and now I've got two separate windows. So as I'm scrolling through, they are separate. So that way I can always see, maybe I want to see this, but I still needed to be able to see something up here. Okay, so that's split. I'm going to unsplit those. Okay, next we're going to work on our goal seek and work on our assumptions table. So what I want us to do before we start doing that is we're going to make a copy of this. So I'm going to right click down here, and I'm going to do move or copy. And I'm going to make a copy, move it to the end, and hit OK. So now I've got a new tab, and I'm going to rename this one Goal Seek. Okay. Oh, I misspelled that. It's S-E-E-K. Okay. So now I'm going to be doing everything on my Goal Seek. My first spreadsheet is not going to change because I want to play with these numbers a little bit. Okay, so the first one I want to do is I want to know let me see exactly what it is. If I could change my site rental percentage, I want to make a net, I want to make my 6-month operating income, this number right here where it's 136, I want that to be 145,000. So I want to change that number. So what would I have to do? Oops, did I skip a step? I did skip a step, but we're okay. We're still in Goal Seek. So the first thing I want to do is I want to know if I change some of these percentages, how is that going to affect this number here? Because that's my big number. That's how much profit I'm going to make in the 6 months that I'm open. So what I can do is I can go through here and play with these. So let's say in cell B20, my bonus, instead of giving them a $3,500 bonus, what if I bump that up and I gave them a $5,000 bonus? So I'm just going to retype $5,000. Boy, that lowered my operating income or for the 6 months a lot. What if for B22, what if instead of my commission at 25%, I only paid them 22.5%? Oh boy, that increased my profits. So I can give them a bigger bonus and lower their commission, and maybe they'll still be happy and I'll make a lot more money. What if in cell B22 I changed, oh, we did that one. In B25, my equipment repair and maintenance, I think 3.5% might be too low. What if that had to go to 4%? Ooh, I'm at $139,000. Okay, but that's still all right. I was at 136, but I had to increase my repair and maintenance a little bit, but by giving them a bigger bonus and lowering their commission just a tad bit, I'm able to make more money. So what I want you to do now is actually, let's rename this one. Instead of it being Goal Seek, let's call this What If. Okay. When you're doing your test or your homework, you can either make new tabs like this or you can screenshot everything. But we want to go back to the 6-month financial, and I'm going to make a new copy of it. Move or copy, create a copy at the end, hit OK. Oh, it didn't go to the end. And drag it to the end and name this one Goal Seek. Okay. So you can either do it this way. I think the tabs are easy, or you can screenshot, but I do need to be able to see your first thing you've ever done. So you do need to leave it the way it is and make a copy. Because I think in your homework, you're going to have to make a couple what if changes and then a Goal Seek. So you can either make several tabs or you can just screenshot them. So Goal Seek, this one is very similar to what we were doing. So that was a what if analysis. We just went in here and changed numbers, and what if we change this and what if we change that. Goal Seek is we want this number here. We want to make $145,000. What are we going to have to do that? We think we can negotiate our rental price. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go to my data tab, WhatIf Analysis, Goal Seek. This is super easy. It's worth a lot of points, and a lot of students will miss this. So set cell. I want to set cell H16 because that's my total operating expense. I want that number in H16 to be $145,000. What am I willing to change to get there? I am willing to change my site rental, which is in cell B23, which I think is a strange number to change. I probably would have messed with my maybe my bonus or commission or margin, but it wants to change the site rental because we're going to try to negotiate that. So we hit OK. So this tells me, so this is something you could screenshot, but we'll be okay this way, is if I want to make $145,000 by changing my site rental needs to go down to 8.01%. I'm going to hit OK to apply that. That is all there is to Goal Seek. Super easy. One more thing, go ahead and hit save. One more thing the book does talk about is smart lookup. So for example, A6, cost of goods sold. If you don't know what that means, click on cell A6, go to your review tab. And here we have spelling, but we also have thesaurus, and we have smart lookup. So I can hit smart lookup. It's going to Google that basically and go back here and tell me eventually what cost of goods sold means. My internet might be a little slow to do that. Okay, my internet's slow, so it's not working, but it would have told you what that meant. Okay, so that is going to be the assignment that we do together. So go ahead and hit save. You've got that one done. You've earned those points. Let me go ahead and show you. If I can find, oh, here it is, your assignment. So we just did the Katelyn's ice cream shop. You are going to, for your homework, you're going to do lab 2-1. That doesn't make any sense. It's the 8-year financial projection, which is lab 1. So you're doing lab 1, 8-year financial projection, and I'll get that corrected for you. Which it looks like is going to be for the business of August Online Technology. So you're going to have to create that from scratch. When you get to part 3, so there's 3 parts to this, part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 2 is your chart. Part 3 is where we're going to be doing those goal seek and what if analysis. So you can use your snipping tool to capture the net income and what if analysis area of the spreadsheet, and you're going to paste that on a blank worksheet because you're going to have 3 different cases you're going to be doing for that. Case 1, what if I change my annual sales growth and my annual price increase? Snip that. Number 2 is what if I change my annual sales growth and my price increase to a different number? Save that. And then the third one, and then you're going to have to do a goal seek. So you can make new tabs, you can screenshot just so that I can see all your answers for, you'd have your first part, your original, then your 3 cases, and then your goal seek. So I'm going to have 5 different spreadsheet things that I have to be able to see from you. So if you have any questions, please ask.